Finding our route today. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Shit, I lost some of it.
Okay, hold on. Hold on a sec.
Okay. I think I can get that out.
I'm gonna come down.
Yeah, there's a nice platform down there. About 4 feet. Woo-hoo. We're climbing this thing right here. All the way up here, scooting over to there, climbing out. It's gonna be a great climb.
See it?
Oh, let's see that.
Yeah.
Crow looked like it had an egg in its mouth. Ooh, nice toe hold. We're climbing this.
It looked like easy climbing up above them.
We are climbing it. We are climbing it. The old scenic highway.
Man, look at that. Man, I can't believe we almost saw a dog get run over. That would have ruined our trip.
Oh, for a dog?
See a dog?
No. Hey.
Okay, so are you ready for a little adventure? Then come along with me and my lifelong friend Lee Lane on a trip through the Columbia River Gorge. We will stop at some of the more popular tourist sites and a few secret spots only few have witnessed. Along the way, we will visit some indigenous native sites, mountains that resemble giant elephants, and a cauldron big enough for a god. We're a couple of lifelong adventurers who in the last few years have taken up the sport of rock climbing. The approach that we take is more solitary in comparison to what you would usually find in the socially cultured climbing community. Come with us as we seek out and discover virgin cliff walls to develop and climb. See if you can relate to the influence that this Pacific Northwest impresses upon Lee and I, and see if this adventure influences you to walk out your door. I'm challenging you to discover the amazing, find the astonishing, and breathe in the sometimes heart-stopping moments that this natural world offers us. Now go grab a soda and some popcorn and enjoy. First stop, Crown Point.
What a view.
Man, I'm so glad we pulled over to save that dog.
Yep.
If you look, right over here, there's a climbing route.
You could see it from I-84. It's got like that cigar feature that steps out away from the cliff wall.
Oh yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be a fun one.
So they call this Crown Point, but this is the Vista House.
Well, originally it was just a glorified rest stop when it was first built in 1918.
Yeah, when this was completed, it was the finishing touches on what they considered the greatest highway in America.
Highway 30.
Yeah, and that's this old scenic highway.
Now, this is Washington, just straight across.
Yeah. Got Beacon Rock to the east of us. Cape Horn's over there, kind of hidden in the clouds.
With millions of visitors each year, Crown Point is a rocky promontory perched 693 feet above the Columbia River. As a commemorative rest stop and observatory, the Vista House opened in 1918. This served as a memorial to the settlers who traveled the final stretch of the Oregon Trail along the gorge. It is also known for the best stargazing landmark, and if you're lucky, you can also catch the northern lights depending on the time of year.
Isn't there some checkpoints on this highway now where you have to pay to pass?
Yeah, it's like through this whole waterfall corridor, it's like every waterfall, there's somebody, I think, standing out in the parking lot now. So when you and Cooper went hiking at Dog Mountain, did you have to?
We just parked on tribal land across the tracks, and then we walked to Dog Mountain. And then we hiked to the top. While we were there, they were trying to hit us up for a fee. And I was like, oh, no, we parked over there across the way. Everything's a shakedown for money. Yeah, we kind of just muscled by and said we didn't use their parking lot, and it was true, so away we went. The word Dreefee was introduced to me by my uncle Daryl. He was a native fisherman of this world, connected spiritually, economically, and subsistently to the Columbia River, a true white Kanishpum, or salmon person. He said river people would understand Dreefees, a relic, souvenir, or artifact of that day's adventure. Some people collect Dreefees in other ways. It could be anything, a rock, shell, or feather. All this is a reminder to never forget a place, certain people, or moments in your life, that no matter where you travel, to always remember home. He asked me to pass this along to my family and friends, so we would always remember to live in awe-inspired wonder of this odyssey we call life.
I remember when I was like 5, 6 years old, my parents taking me out to my grandfather's place out in Redland, Oregon. It was there that I would kind of learn how to learn these basic survival skills. And that's kind of where I got the bug for being outdoors and hiking and climbing and surviving off the land. I remember it was the first time that I saw a campfire being built. He used matches to light his tinder bundle. And he would tell us, you can build a fire with rubbing sticks together or using a magnifying glass, even using a plastic bag with water in it to beam the light and shine it on your tinder bundle. And it was crazy, all the stuff he would show us. Well, in my little 5, 6-year-old head, I was like, man, I got a pile of socks in the middle of my room and there's matches on the back of the toilet tank in the bathroom. I'm gonna start my own little campfire. So I waited for my parents to go to bed. My sister and I shared a room. So I woke Tammy up, said, come on, Tammy, let's go build our own campfire. So I piled the socks up in the middle of the room, ran and grabbed the matches off the back of the toilet tank, got the first match, struck it, burned my finger. Grabbed the second match, struck it, put it underneath the socks, and voila, socks started flaming, and then all the smoke, black smoke, started coming up from the socks, and I started to freak out. So I ran to my parents' room and like, Mom, Dad, wake up, there's a fire in our room. And they're like, go back to bed, you're just dreaming. No, you gotta wake up, there's a fire. And we're crying and screaming, and so they sent us back to bed. They thought we were dreaming. By that time, they smelled the smoke. My dad ran in and the flames were like already hitting the ceiling, and he yelled for my mom, "Jane, get in here, get the kids outside." She took us to our neighbor Terry's house. Meanwhile, he's in there trying to fight the fire. He goes downstairs to the kitchen to get a pot full of water, ran back upstairs, and by this time the whole upstairs was already on fire. So that was my first experience lighting a match, burned down my parents' house. Years would go by and my dad and my grandpa would take me hunting and foraging, and man, we'd do all this stuff out in the forest, and their whole focus was how to respect nature, how to respect fire, how to respect the water, how to respect the land that you're walking on. I would learn to love it. And growing up on a farm, we had 500 acres of forest in the back of us. I was out in those woods every single day, every day. Sometimes I would camp for a couple days. At 12, 13 years old, I would go out, I'd have a rifle, I'd have my dog. My parents never questioned it. I'd eat off the land, foraging for food, berries. I would trap squirrels, whatever I could find to eat out there. It was just something I had to be doing. I was either playing guitar or I was out in those woods with my dog. It wouldn't be till I was like 18, 19 years old that a friend of mine took me out to go rock climbing. Immediately I was hooked. I think we went out to Canby. That was the first time I ever climbed a rock. He showed me how the gear worked. After a couple of weeks, I was setting up my own anchor systems, tying all the knots, picking all the routes. I did that for, I don't know, maybe the next year or two. And then between music and motocross riding, I just started doing that full time, and climbing just kind of went on the back burner. It was around that time my parents got a divorce. We lost the farm. I didn't have access to the forest behind us anymore. And every time I tried to go hiking or thought about climbing, it just reminded me of the farm too much. There was just so much pain there that I didn't want to deal with that. It hurt. Sometime around COVID, I get a call from Lee. He's like, "Hey man, I know this place down at the beach called Devil's Cauldron. I love that place. I've always wanted to rappel down the cliff wall that's there. Have you ever thought about doing something like that, like rock climbing and rappelling?" It's like, "Yeah man, I used to do that when I was a teenager." I said, "We could totally do something like that." I don't know, it just hit me quick. Like right when he said the words, "You ever thought about rappelling or rock climbing?" It's like, yeah, you don't have to go any farther. Let's do this.
Yeah, one of the things about climbing for me that I really wanted some sort of outlet that would test myself, you know, just a challenge through which I can know who I am. And there's nothing more of a challenge to me than conquering my fear of heights. Mm. So that's what compelled me to call you to get us started.
Yeah.
Like I just had to do it. I felt like you and I had this, we just owed this debt. I just thought rock climbing was the way to go. There's just something about it, just the feeling it gives you.
Yeah.
The peace, the problem solving. And so many people will wait their whole lives and wonder what's at the top of a mountain, you know, and right. They'll never do anything about it. And we decided to climb a mountain everywhere on the gorge. And it's been a blast.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like when we did Devil's Cauldron,
I see it going way down there.
Yeah.
Coming up, it's going to be a son of a bitch, man.
Yeah. I'm prepared. Yep. Any rocks that you see is going to fall on us, you better take care of them now.
I'm right about there. Yeah, I like it right there. Yeah, yours is. I like the placement of yours.
Yeah.
You might get you.
Woo!
Oh shit, dude.
What?
We're really close to the bottom.
I know. Let's do it. Two things happened on that descent. Like when I looked over and your eyes were just kind of like, you're holding on to the rope. And it was like, it wasn't that you were afraid for your life. It was more of a, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. It's gonna be a son of a bitch going up.
Yep.
We're gonna have to take multiple breaks.
Yeah.
I got some loose material here. Hold on a second.
As the descent carried on, it switched into, hey, if you get stuck, Howie, I can get you out of here. You know.
Yeah.
Woo.
Hey man, we're gonna make it. Hey man, worst case scenario, you poop out and you can't make it. I'm making it. If I could get up there, I could get you on a prusik. I could help you the whole way.
You're older than me, so
That's a long way.
I think I'll make it.
This sheer drop, man. You're a bright idea. I wanted to go down the incline.
Beautiful, man. Look at this. Woo!
That cauldron, I had looked at that for a couple of years. And I've, I kept on poking you with information like, we got to do this. So it was a dream come true for me. I had thought about it. So when we finally got there and started rigging up and then pitched our ropes over, as you walk to the edge and you look over, that was a couple hundred, maybe pushing close to 300 feet.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Okay. Got it, man. 10 reps. Got it in you?
I'm too.
Oh, hey. Be careful. A nice sized rock just came by. He nailed me in the arm. Yeah, that's right on my muscle of my forearm. Right on. Oh yeah. That Charlie horse.
Thought I heard something.
Last night. That's a rock crashing into my forearm. It's gonna mess up my grips.
You want me to pull you up?
Hold on.
What's wrong? Oh, shit.
I'm drying up too.
You're what?
Drying up.
Oh, you need water? Look at that. We're almost there.
I mean, you see the ocean coming in, just carving out this cauldron.
You could swim in that, couldn't you? Or swim around that way and just go to the beach.
Shit, that's a long way, man. I think you're crazy.
It's just like another world.
Yeah, we're tied to a few trees up top.
Yeah.
And, never really taken on that kind of a challenge before. Looking over that edge was just like, okay, here we go. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Dude.
Look at that. Woo!
It's gonna be a son of a bitch coming back up.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
You got it in you?
Yes.
You got it in you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Oh shit, we got an audience too.
Yeah. Then when we got back out, it's just, I don't know, the feeling, just the feeling it gives you. It's hard to explain what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a moment.
Yeah, very powerful moment. So up right over there, that is Horse Thief. That's where before we go climbing a lot.
Located in Lyle, Washington, Horse Thief Butte is a prominent landmark of basalt columns that were formed by lava flows about 15 million years ago. The name Horse Thief is said to have been inspired by the scenery of old Hollywood westerns from the 1950s. Nowadays, it's most known for its rock climbing, bird watching, and hiking trails that overlook the Columbia River.
Right here. That was the first wall that we climbed. There you go.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, there we go. Woo. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. I stared at it from both directions. I don't think you can do it.
What about the nose?
Right here?
Yeah, straight up from where your hand is.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah?
Oh, fuck.
Under. Go under.
What?
Go under that rope. If you
No, I
got
don't
it.
think I can.
Whip it.
No. No. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Really gave us a lot of confidence. You know, looking back on it now, this is where it all started for us. I know for myself, I thought we'd just go on a couple climbs, maybe rappel down this or that. I had no idea it would take over my life the way it did. The first time we went to Horse Thief was kind of a recon mission. We walked around observing all the different climbers to see how they were setting up their anchors. We left there with as much beta as we could, capturing videos and still pictures so we could take it home to study. It had been 30 years since I climbed last, so I had to get it right. What I found was a lot of things have changed since the late 80s. This place will always remain special to me, as it does for so many climbers every year. And even if equipment or climbing styles change, one thing's for sure. As long as we take care of her, this place will always remain the same. It was Lee's big idea to hang me off the side of the cliff.
He went partially down it. It had rained, and there was still some water runoff up there, so it made it slick. He got stuck there. He couldn't climb out. He was stuck there for about, what, half an hour?
Yeah. I made it though.
I pulled you out for the most part.
What?
My connection to the gorge was born into me by my parents. My mother's Native American. She's an enrolled member of the Yakima Nation. Her indigenous beliefs, they run deep here. Natives look at this land in a sacred way. It's just something that was born into them by their parents and their parents before them. Lots of natives were born up and down the river, and when the dams were built, burial grounds were flooded. But my grandma used to tell me that the Indians still come here and look to the waters to hear their voices. Now the colonial mindset, they believe land is something that you can just buy or sell or own or fence in or franchise. Whereas Indians look at land as something that you belong to, something that their fathers belonged to and their fathers before them belonged to. It's a deep, deep, ancient belief. My dad's parents immigrated here from Finland. It's not clear why they made it here to the gorge. We didn't get that handed down to us, that information. But somehow they made it here. My dad was more of a wild man, a daredevil. This gorge was just a giant playground for him, but he grew up here. Spent lots of summers visiting grandparents on his side of the family. Walt and Ethel were my grandparents from his side, just wonderful grandparents. Made us all feel safe, always had fun things for us to do, took care of us. So my connection runs from both sides of my family. Where my mom's connection is more spiritual or cultural, my dad's was more physical, more radical. He had to get his hands on something and feel it to connect with it. I think I take after him in that regard. Having the parents I did, I fell into a long-lasting love affair with the gorge. It was like a prearranged marriage. Through their DNA, my connection with this gorge was born. It was an innate, natural feeling to be here. As a kid, it was just something that was so ingrained in me, and it was always in front of my eyesight to always feel it. But as I grew older, something eluded me. You lose your connection. You go off into the world of work to do and bills to pay. So I started to, I just started to feel a debt I owe to this natural world, and that deficiency, it just really gnawed away at me. There's just a network of energy here that I had trouble accessing, and that's where Howie came in. He had rock climbing experience, and he has an appetite for adventure. So I just asked him, how would you like to embark on an escapade into the natural world? His response was typical Howie. He's like, I'm in. I've always been in, but we can't talk about it. We have to do it. So that's when we made up our mind to really set out and charge forth in pursuit of doors to a freer existence. So we jumped in the car and tried pointing ourselves in the right direction on the road of life, and it always ended up here, back in the gorge. It was just like a magnet. It pulled us here. If you're seeing this, we hope to show you things that you haven't seen before, or from an angle you haven't seen, to open your eyes to the beauty that's all around us, and it's everywhere, and it's in everything. There's moments of grace to be had here if you look with an open heart. My hope is that you do look with an open heart and you find it.
Hello everyone. We're cleaning Grindle. Well, we spent about, 3 hours on Grindle today?
Yeah, cleaning Grindle, 100-footer, sheer drop straight into the Columbia.
I think when you get to where you're at right there,
Yeah.
right in there, I think it's gonna pick up real quick because I'm straight vertical. We've got all little nooks and crannies in there.
Can't wait. Remember the first time we saw that? You spotted it. And I saw your eyes start eyeing it. And I was thinking, all right, I see what he's up to.
Look at that. Look at that.
So clean that crack up there.
Yeah. Yeah, right in that crack where you see that foliage there?
Yeah.
Right up in there, there's a little bit of loose debris, but it's climbable.
Yeah, something about that overhang.
This is going to be fun right here.
Yeah. Where would we start?
Right here. Boom, boom, boom.
Right here?
Yeah, I see it starting right there. Foothold, handhold, get to that point there. And we're making our way up through there. It's going to be a side hold of pure brute strength to get to there, but once we get to that crack there, we'll just side hold with an opposite foothold and work our way up to that crack there. So we cleaned it, we rappelled down it and cleaned it. All that remains is scaling it. We're going to ascend it, what, next weekend maybe?
Yeah. I used to do the PCT all the time. I just can't do those hikes anymore. It's just climbing is like engulfed my whole world to where I'd rather just go find a wall.
Yeah, I used to do quite a bit of hiking too. Don't get me wrong, I'll still hike, but about a 15-mile or so. At that point, my body starts kind of fatiguing and hurting, and you know, rock climbing is more intense, but it's not as sustained. You don't need that same endurance.
Yeah, when we were out on the kayaks today, what do we have, like 6 or 7 routes now?
Yeah.
And just looking at the differences between each one, we have what we call the monster.
We have the tooth, and we have the gap tooth. We have the fertilance. We have the shark fin, the bowling ball. So if you really think about it, we've cleaned and bolted all our own routes. We haven't, I don't think we've ever hooked onto someone else's bolt ever. Everything we've done, we've always done our own route, start to finish.
Over the past few years, Lee and I have traveled all up and down the Columbia River Gorge searching for cliff walls, and one of our passions has become developing climbing routes. Sometimes it takes us days to locate one and weeks to develop it and make it safe. We find ourselves being so meticulous sometimes, brushing every square inch of the rock face, but that's the only way we can find every crack and hold. And at the point where we start feeling it safe to climb, we realize and remind each other that these mountains are alive and unpredictable.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, shit, there goes another hold.
Where at?
It gave way. Right here.
Here. Good catch, man. Good catch.
Go.
You okay?
Yeah. That's the worst it's gonna get.
You know, we're climbing on basalt rock, and it's really unforgivable. What appears in one moment to be a climbing hold can just crumble in your hand like a powdered donut. It can literally leave you having your belayer catch you or laying on your back. That's why safety and being redundant is so important to Lee and I. It's our #1 priority. If we had a motto, it would be, dude, we need to make it home for dinner with our family. There's no exception to this rule. This boulder was a last-minute discovery at the end of our season this year. Coming back from a kayak trip, we stumbled upon the formation. We've been wanting to name a route after Lee's Auntie Marcella for a while now. Toa Amara, which means the people in her native language, is the guardian of this land. Through generations, it is understood that she belongs to this land, the land belongs to her, just like it did for her mother and father, grandparents, and so on. Long after she has passed, her spirit will witness the people who use and respect this land. Stories will be told, love will be passed down, and the gift of hope will prevail in her name. It's really amazing for me witnessing Lee solo this boulder. February 22nd, 2022. That's the day I got the text from him saying that he wanted to start climbing. It's almost been 3 years since that day. It's amazing how far he's come and how much confidence he has in his climbing abilities. You know, any signs of him having a fear of heights has totally disappeared. I'm not sure if he hides it, but I am sure he definitely controls it. That first year of climbing, he was like a kid in a candy store every time we would head out on an adventure. He would show up at my house like a half an hour before we were supposed to go. And this is like 4 o'clock in the morning, so he'd be there at like 3:30. Hey, you awake? Come on, let's go. And today, he's still that same old kid. It's like it's became a way of life for him. He and his family have always been adventurous, but these days they've taken it to another level. They carry an appreciation for all that they see, walk on, and breathe in. Lee has always been a bearer of hope. His ancestral flame that burns inside of him has been a guide for me and others to adhere to. He's always reminding me that there's beauty in everything I see and touch, a respect that we have to give, and a debt to this natural world that we owe. He also reminds me that all has a purpose, and to always be in the moment and take nothing or no one for granted. He's been a lifelong friend and someone who has always had my back, but who is not afraid to set me straight. Our competitive spirit that we have with one another has led to many physical confrontations. But that's what brothers do. We fight, we bleed, and we help each other off the ground. We will dust ourselves off, shake hands, and use that experience to laugh about later on in life.
Next stop, Multnomah Falls.
So when we get up to Multnomah Falls, they actually held that 2017 Eagle Creek fire.
Yeah.
They actually held that fire away from the lodge.
Yeah, by feet.
Yeah.
You'll see some trees, scarred trees, surrounding that. So, yeah, they created a little bubble around the lodge there. Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah.
So after they investigated that fire, it was determined that a 15-year-old kid, was just shooting off fireworks. And he just sparked a flame, and it burnt some 50,000 acres.
Yeah, and it went on for like 8 or 9 months, that fire.
Yep, even 50 miles away, the air quality was, you almost had to wear a mask when you stepped outside.
Well, I remember like just walking outside to our driveway, and the cars had like, I mean, literally 1 to 2 inch embers all over them. They were saying like the fire was so intense back there behind Cascade Locks that there were branches that ended up on the Washington side.
Imagine if that would have started a fire on the Washington side.
Well, I think it did a little spot and they contained it right away.
September 2017, the first month of the fire had consumed over 48,000 acres. 8 months later, it was still found smoldering in some areas.
You could still see that tree right there.
Yeah.
You see the charred stump there and over there?
Formed over 15,000 years ago by the cataclysmic Missoula floods, the towering 635-foot waterfall drops into 2 pools, It ranks as the tallest waterfall in Oregon. In 1914, construction of the graceful 45-foot Benson Bridge, a footbridge that crosses the falls over 100 feet above the lowest pool. Years later, the city commissioned a Cascadian-style lodge to be built at the base of the falls, using timber and every type of rock found along the gorge. It was completed for $40,000.
You remember when you could just go down there and
Swim
jump right in?
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd spend all day here.
Look at some of those trees up there. We could friction wrap onto, pitch a rope over.
Yeah.
We could rappel down before they even knew what hit them.
You sure we need to walk up there?
God, Howie,
What's wrong?
what?
What the hell?
We're here.
I know, I was just making sure.
Yeah, let's do it. It's going to be a 5-minute walk. You're probably feeling the burn already, aren't you?
I'm younger than you, so.
Yeah. You're going to have to get life flight up here to fly you out. So look, there's the lodge, there's the tree. Even here you got some charred wood.
Oh yeah. This is how close the fire got to the lodge. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, hoorah for our firefighters out there.
Yeah, as kids, man, we used to swim this whole thing, go behind the waterfall.
Yep. You know, it's funny, since we started rock climbing, I remember always looking over this and it would always give me the EBGBs.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing. Heck, I could probably jump from here. Land right there. Probably close to 100 feet right there.
I noticed, like with us, we like to adventure out, try to find something nobody's ever touched.
Yeah.
We did that backwoods adventure.
Can't believe you took me on that one. I see why. When you see it, you can see it from I-84 as you drive by, and you see this big dome, almost like a triangle, just sitting off by itself.
Yeah.
It's just so tempting. Yeah, so we just drove that way, hiked to the bottom of it. Whatever, 40 feet down there. I see it's making it to that crack. Which was a chore, an adventure all on its own. And I tried walking around it. Is that you?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
I thought you were going to be long gone.
No way.
I got knotted up there. And I was almost sliding down that mountain the whole time.
And sending big boulders down on,
Yeah.
within feet. There's a huge log in front of me, and if it wasn't for that log, I think somebody would have got hurt that day. Hiding behind a tree right now. Been killed almost twice now by huge boulders. I don't even know if he realizes he's kicking them down. His rope's tangled right now. He didn't make it all the way up. There's just no way to get up there. You'd have to climb it, but everything's so loose that there's just no way to climb it. When he gets down here, we'll equalize this rope around this tree and both go down on each side of the tree on one rope with our ATCs. Wish you were here, but you would hate us because it's so steep and dangerous. What caught my eye, what's that tower in that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Close Encounters, right?
Yeah. Devil's Tower, I believe.
Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
It just kind of stood on its own.
Yep.
So.
Hundreds of feet tall. It even kind of had those, like those columns, like at Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
The legend is there was some Indian braves up there who climbed to the top of that tower, and there was bears trying to get to them. That all those
striations coming down. It was their claws pulling down on the tower.
Wow.
So it had some aspects of that.
Yeah.
That was a doozy. We almost never walked away from that one.
Yeah. All right, going around the tree. Lee's side, my side. Ready? One to 21.
21, 4 throws per person because we got 4 shoes. This should go fast.
You warmed up?
Yeah. I'm getting close every time.
Yeah.
Here we go. Get there. Yes. Come on, let's go do it. Let's keep score 1 together so we know what the. You call that a ringer? Yeah, it's a point, but it's not insert one, right? Shit. Okay, well, that's close. That's close to a ringer. So if we're there, would you call that a ringer? I call that a ringer. Got it.
I'm still tired from running around this joint while you were floating around in your kayak. That's a point.
Oh, definitely a point. Okay, yep, we got 2 points. It's 1 to a lucky. Yes! Oh yeah. Ringer. One point. 1 more. And you're gonna need a bunch of ringers. I think I got a ringer. 1 ringer and 2 points. 3, 5 points. That's 21.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good job. This little 70-foot climb has a very unique ledge to belay from. Lee and I were kayaking along some cliff walls and discovered the 6-foot-high feature that sat at the base of a very diverse wall. This perch was at most 3 feet by 8 feet, and the only way to get to it was either by abseiling the wall or kayaking to it. So we got creative and developed a via ferrata passage to get to the ledge. It's a fun and exceptional way to start a climb. Again, it's all about the journey and what you can experience alongside it. Lee had troubles remembering the rung system's name, so every time he referred to the wall, he called it Fertilance instead of Via Ferrata. He has a funny way of altering things to work in his favor. Just like the name suggests, the route can have a bit of a bite to it, which is why it makes it our favorite wall to warm up on.
Imagine they made this with just a dozer and a lot of dynamite.
Yeah. So they wanted this to look like an English road, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, like all the guardrails that we're seeing, really has that feel.
Yeah. When I was in Germany, they were everyone was so stoked about the Rhine River. You know, it's just supposed to be just this magnificent, vast river, and they had cruise ships and castles up and down the mountains. And when we took that cruise ship, everyone was just beside themselves. And when I was in there, I was thinking, gosh, I have this in my backyard. And like the Columbia Gorge, it's just so much bigger than what they have there. So I had a great time, but at the same time, I got a bigger appreciation for what I have here.
If you compare the two, the Columbia Gorge is
Longer, like that whole cruise, it was, we were done in an hour and a half, and we captured pretty much all the sightseeing parts. Here, you could start down in Troutdale and can't go all the way past the Dells. It's 80 miles of gorge, just jagged rocks on each side, fir trees,
right.
bending, winding river, bridges, several bridges, Bridge of the Gods.
And then you get to the high desert.
Yeah, the further east you go, the topography changes. You go from this green, firred, mountainous area to the plateau.
When you drive through Hood River or the Dalles, you're getting into that high desert. But then when you cut like south from there, it gets into these rolling grass fields and almost looks like Holland.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about this place is we could literally drive an hour and a half. We can hit the Pacific Ocean. We're there in an hour and a half, or we can drive up the way to Mount Hood, head east down the gorge. You go through the Cascade Mountains, just the whole valley there, and everything changes as you go. Well, we got it all.
Heading down the gorge, Lee and I spot a formation that I actually have never been to. Knowing this, Lee said, we've got to stop. He knew I grew up with a mother who was a spiritualist, so he knew this place would fascinate me.
Located in Maryhill, Washington, the monument is a replica of England's Stonehenge. It's constructed of concrete and was completed and dedicated on July 4th, 1918. It was also the first monument in the United States to honor the dead of World War I, specifically soldiers from Klickitat County. Take notice as it overlooks the breathtaking views of the Columbia Gorge. It's said to have over 30,000 people who visit the memorial every year. The Stonehenge is located in the former site of the town of Maryhill. The town burned down, leaving only the concrete replica standing.
When you touch it, it's crumbly.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Light's coming on. Is it just one light bulb hitting you up here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on full.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, heading out for a night climb. On a stealth mission tonight.
Straight to the kayaks, right?
Going to the kayaks. Probably the safest way to get where we're going.
Is this your first night climb?
Yep.
Phew, I'm excited.
Got all this nervous energy, man. I'm raring to go. Columbia River to our left.
Okay. Well,
Here we go.
I'm in. There we go. Whoa. A little turbulence.
Yeah.
How about you lead the way? We'll go around the lighthouse.
Okay.
Look at him go.
Nice and easy.
The lighthouse signals.
We got a rock up here.
Yeah, we got some shallow rocks in there. Let's go around.
Okay.
Oh man, there they are. They slow down a little bit. Hitting these waves the wrong way. Oh. Okay, we're gonna work ourselves over to the east side of these cliffs. The east side is gonna be our climbing route.
Got some bats out here.
What a shot. Look at this.
Woohoo! Yeah, man. This is it. See a big spider right there. Look at that baby.
Yeah.
Oh, a couple of them. Ooh, bunch of them. Look at them all.
Wow. Look at this place.
We're here.
Let's try this again. Right there. Okay. Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, climbing. Let's get over here a little bit. God damn it. Oh, Jesus. How did we do this before? I'm already lost.
Okay. I see it. It's actually over here. There's a nice hold.
Holy shit, how was that?
Oh boy, what a climb.
So were the shadows on the wall, is that messing you up at all?
Woo! Yeah, what a trip. Unbelievable. What a feeling.
It looked good from up here, man.
God, I almost lost it twice.
Really?
Hanging on by my fingertips. Oh boy.
That solitude that we kind of seek. You know, luckily we found a place where it's kind of our own,
Yeah.
you know. I couldn't imagine like actually going to like some of the places around here, Ozone, Madrone, Rocky Butte,
Yeah.
Beacon.
Beacon Rock, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have a bunch around here, but you go there, and again, like you said, we've never hooked on to anybody's stuff, and I think a big part of that is you go there, and people are waiting in line to climb. You know, sometimes 10 people for one route.
Yeah. It's like Disneyland. You go to this place and you have to stand in line to do the ride. I couldn't imagine sitting there knowing someone's waiting for me to finish and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were kind of fortunate just to find our own niche. There's places out there, we found them.
Yeah.
We have at least 10 routes here across the river. We found another spot. We had at least 10 routes there too.
Yeah.
100 footers.
Yeah.
They're out there. You just got to find them.
Right. And I'm surprised that more people don't search for those
Yep.
on their own,
Yep.
you know, because they're all along this gorge.
I've traveled all over this world in search of hidden Edens. From the French Alps of Europe to the Appalachians of the East Coast. Through the highways, byways, and Ozarks of the Midwest.
all the way to the western edge of North America, only to end up where I started. The Pacific Northwest and the Columbia River Gorge, from the rolling hills, high deserts, and open plains and ranges of eastern Oregon to the snow-capped peaks of the Cascade Arc, through the coastal mountains to the Pacific Ocean, where the earth, sky, and water meet in a setting as close to forever as I can possibly imagine. To find myself among the firs, cedars, and oaks of the dark woods of the Cascades, somewhere in between nowhere and everywhere. To stand on the edge of a cliff, overlooking a canyon carved by time and the great waters of the Columbia, with basalt spires, stacks, fingers, and towers reaching up like arms to embrace the sky. To hear the song of the wind dancing through the pines, like ancient music from a different time, the sound of water crashing into rock, with the coyotes, wolves, and crickets joining the symphony at nightfall, as the sky spreads out its stars like a blanket to sleep under. And it is here, in this valley cut through the mountains, with the winds breathing low and the moon riding high in the summer evening, where I find the world filled with the grace and beauty I've been searching for. And I shall come here, and I shall find peace here, and live out my days as if my heart were an ocean, where it will feel like a sail in the wind and fly away. I've traveled all over this world in search of hidden Edens. I have found peace here, where I live my days like my heart is an ocean, where it sets sail in the wind, my soul has found motion. I stand on the edge overlooking the canyon,
arms raised to embrace the sky, with the winds breathing low and moon riding high, like ancient music from another time.
Natives are a very proud people, and they love and respect. They'll ask you, who are your people? You know, they want to know, and then bring you into the circle and welcome the people. It's really quite wonderful and refreshing. And at powwows, natives will come from all over the Northwest just to come and dance and ceremony. It's just a really uplifting time, and to listen to the drums. My mother would say, during her last years of her life, she would say, I need you to take me to a powwow. She said, I need to hear the drums. So we would take her and help her get seated, and she just would sit and listen.
Here we are.
Man, look how deep they carved into that rock.
There's a turtle there. Looks like that's a bird over there. So these petroglyphs were in danger of being flooded when the Dalles Dam went in. So these were relocated here where they would be safe for generations to come to see. It's a monument to the people, leaving their story behind.
These could be thousands of years old.
Yeah, you can really tell how revered animals were to the Indian people. I remember my grandmother, she would take us to the zoo, or even she'd take us to spots where she knew there would be eagles, and she would sit there for the longest time and just stare at the eagles. And I asked her, Grandma, what are you doing? And she would tell me that she's visiting with her creator and all those who are no longer with her. And she said that's how they communicate to the world, is through the animals, through the mountains, through the wind, the trees.
Like their connection.
Yeah, their connection is so sacred. My mom's always telling me to take time and to know that you're alive. And I feel it most often in places like these. Unbelievable.
So there's probably more than what we're seeing here.
Yeah. There's actually more pictograms over at Horse Thief Butte over there. They're not as well pronounced, but if you walk through there, you can find them. They're actually carved into the rock over there. And then we're sitting right above Celilo. The old Celilo Falls used to be right over here to the east a little bit. So when the Dalles Dam was built, all that backwater just flooded the river, flooded their ancient tribal fishing area, which was a mecca for fishing. If you can imagine falls, there's a large monolithic basalt formation underneath the water out there where the water would come down and just pour into that horseshoe and then spill around it, and then the natives would have their scaffolds cantilever out into the water, and they just dip their nets and pull out fish.
Celilo man, cast your lines. That waterfall we need to find.
This is a picture of my mom down here. When they flooded Celilo, she talked about how sad all the people were to lose their culture, lose everything that was important to them, lose their home, lose their livelihood. And she said, and all of our history was just gone in a few hours.
Yeah.
And she also said, how could anybody do that to other people? And she said when they had been there forever.
I remember listening to her talk. People they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to go. The life they knew is now gone. And people were just walking around lost. They don't know where their heart is anymore. So Indians just kind of went their own way and got separated and disconnected. And she said that was kind of part of the plan.
When they flooded Celilo, they flooded out many Indian villages along the Columbia River. Not just the village there at Celilo, and people don't know that. And the government had promised to replace those, and still to this day we're waiting.
Celilo, it's the sound of crashing water against rocks, and it was deafening from what my grandmother would tell me.
The dam was so loud, the water coming off of the falls, that we little kids would play in the banks, and you had to yell to hear each other. But I remember playing there and swimming there as a little kid.
Imagine hearing that forever, and then one day this slowly floods and that noise just goes away forever. A way of life that endured thousands of years, snuffed out that quickly, just in the name of colonial progress.
Your mom used to actually go down there as a kid. Right?
She remembers. They used to have a cable running from Oregon into Washington, and they would be on little roller trolleys on this cable, and they would just trolley across these cables out onto
across the river?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And it was used to haul the fish from the island over to the main part of the area. And that's what people rode back and forth. You can barely see it there, but it's pretty dramatic. And I actually rode in that as a child.
I've heard, I don't know if it was from you or somebody, but there's actually archaeologists that are diving down looking for, like...
to see if it's still intact.
Is that what they're doing?
Right, yeah, they're thinking that the silt and the muck on the bottom of the river may have filled the horseshoe, but evidently it's still there in place. So if they ever let that dam go, it would be revealed again.
And they've had talks about that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
About taking that dam back down.
Yeah.
One of the dams that they've taken down actually there were 4 dams they've taken down on the California-Oregon border. They took that one down just recently. And they've been there for over 100 years. And the salmon are now coming back into their homeland, just like the Indian people.
Yeah, it's, I know lots of natives, they can't come here. It's just too sad to look at what it is now compared to what it was when they were youngsters.
Yeah.
It is sad. I think that's why my mother cried when she thought about what was lost.
It's meant to be remembered, but at the same time, it's not a happy memory. Hollowed ground. Let's go look at some more up here.
Okay. That looks like almost like a hunting scene.
Yeah.
I wonder if those are longhorn sheep.
Could be.
Those are coming back around here.
They are. Yeah, there's buffalo too. When I see these, I always think that it's just that ancient people just crying out, trying to let the world know we were here. Wonder if there's any Bigfoots. Think we can find a Bigfoot one?
Who knows? Maybe that's what that is. Could be a coyote, could be a bear.
Yeah.
Cougar. Could be a Bigfoot.
Yeah, this area is called She Who Watches by natives. Always looking over us. Grendel was Howie's summer project, from the moment he saw it up until now. He said it could be the highlight to a summer full of highlights. At first glance, it looks like something out of a Lord of the Rings movie. A twisting, towering, and menacing 120-foot multicolored vertical face. With boulders at the bottom, cobblestone-like terrain throughout, cracks, corners, chimneys, overhangs, and a smooth, cruxy face daring you to climb it. There's a few good holds here and there, mixed in with half-inch toe holds, finger jams, and crimps to really get your blood pumping. I worry some of these are spread too far to successfully climb. Today is the day we find out. Howie's going to ascend Grendel. He'll find a way. He always does. I can already hear him. Keep your feet moving. Don't stop. We've played lots of King of the Mountain in our days. Anything from pool, darts, horseshoes, to basketball. Always keeping score. No quarter given, none taken. Always a winner and a loser. Well, in this game, we both win, standing side by side, each one fighting for the other. When you rock climb, you put your life in another person's hands, ask them to put their life in yours. There's a level of trust there reserved for only the most trustworthy. That's Howie. When he's in your corner, he's all in, non-negotiable. He's been a great teacher, helping me get prepared so we can charge forth in pursuit of great things. Over the last 3 years, I've witnessed Howie's connection to the natural world change a little. At first, he was all business, like an instructor teaching a class. I guess I needed it. If my head drifted off into the clouds, he'd snap me back into reality. I'd tell him, look at where we are. Be in the moment. He'd nod and teach me a new knot and why it's important. Lately, though, it's his head that's in the clouds, telling me to open my eyes, to be overwhelmed by a ray of sunlight, to be captivated by the texture of a rock wall, to be in the moment so deeply that it swallows you whole until you become part of it. That's why we do this feeling. And if we can inspire just one person to strap on a backpack, pitch a tent, and sleep under the stars in the arms of Mother Nature, then this all makes sense. There's a Grendel out there for everyone, to test yourself against a great foe, so that you may know who you are. Grendel is Howie's test for the day. Climb on.
Okay, climbing. Feels good. Move your feet. Coming up to a crux. Oh yeah. All right. Come on. Oh yeah. That's hard. Keep moving. Keep moving, boy. There you go. Keep moving. Ugh. That was hard. Control your breathing. Did it. Did it. Yeah. Grendel. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lee and I took this project on in hopes to show another side of rock climbing. Not just the side of actually climbing the rock, but discovering and how we clean the wall. We hope to open doors for a new generation of climbers in our area. If you were privileged enough to grow up in the Pacific Northwest, I'm sure you would realize how lucky you were to have everyone and everything within reach. an hour or two in almost every direction, you will find a new paradise. Whether it be snow-capped mountains, turbulent ocean beaches, mythical high deserts, cultured cities, native homelands, unpredictable volcanoes, or just rivers flowing with life, the Pacific Northwest, or Mother Northwest as we like to call her, has it all. The plants and animals here are an ecosystem unto themselves, giving what each other needs, sharing and sacrificing to make each other stronger. The people of this community are helpful and friendly, but above all, we are weird. At least that's what we love to call ourselves. We're proud to display individuality and change. There are no styles, only personal perspectives. A community characterizing in charismatic expression and artistic definition. When and if you are lucky enough to shake hands with a fellow Northwesterner, you will find relatable stories and connections that root us from days gone by. We are from every place and no place. We come from this planet and worlds beyond. And yes, we believe in Bigfoot, jackalope, thunderbirds, and even Wally the lake monster. This Northwest, man, when you've lived in her arms for a time, you will gain a mild ability of precognition to her modifications.
God, bro, that was not good.
You'll be able to smell her and taste her tears of rain, see her laugh with your children under her leaves. You can feel her seasons change in your bones and talk with her as she whispers to you through the wind. But be sure of this, no matter where you decide to end up on this planet, when she the Northwest calls, you must answer to her and return to let her fuel your soul, for she is the giver of life, and you the child of her expectations. From this point on, when you travel down the road, notice the coincidental comparisons between the natural world and the urban world, like the towering buildings throughout the cities resembling trees scratching the sky, the city lights high atop the mountain pretending to be stars, and even the rush hour traffic appearing to mimic the migration of the spawning salmon. These and other resemblances toy with our fantasies and realization that we are more connected than we ever thought possible. We can't deny that we need her more than she needs us, for we are a virus to her, and if we're not careful, we will be her end. We must cover our footprints, and we must lessen the signs of our existence. We must give that privilege to her. Mother Northwest, she has her own story to tell, and if we just leave her alone for a bit, our children's children will also be able to appreciate and realize her grace.
How long have the eagles been away? You're tired, but the story wants you to stay. The fire, it wakes you from your rest. Thank you for giving all your best. So Lilo man, cast your lines. That waterfall we need to find. Uncovered secrets from the past. Unforgotten people here to last. Those waters flooded onto you. The river people we once knew. So Lilo man, cast your lines. That waterfall we need to find. I wish I'd wake up to find those lines and spirits calling to yours and mine. And giving a breath for something to say. You gave our children somewhere to play. That native heart will never fall. Those eagles come back for us all. So Lilo man, cast your lines. That waterfall we need to find. So Lilo man, cast your lines. The waterfall we dream to find. I wish I'd wake up to find those lines and spirits calling to yours and mine. Well, I'd wish I'd wake up. I would love to find those lines and spirits calling to yours and mine. Some Lilo man. Some Lilo man. How long have the eagles been away? You're tired, but the story wants you to stay.